I love to call solo traveling Love Island.
The hardest thing is when you still really love that person, but you have to put yourself first.
Traveling taught me so much about dating, flirting. I was so bad at it.
In my mind, I like to call them love stories, but they're probably mostly fuckboys. We wanted to share our little secret. We love Aussies. We'll get into that later.
Yes. Did he just ask me to go have breakfast with him? What's wrong with him?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, we're getting married.
I'm so sorry, Mom and Dad. Hello.
Hello. Welcome back.
Thank you for being here again, Nick, this week. This week's episode is my favorite, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be all about travel romance and relationships and
we have good stories for you.
I think everybody can probably relate to this.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you're gonna laugh a lot in this episode.
Yes.
Because we have good stories good fails and good cutie stories also. We have
so many loves. In my mind, I like to call them love stories, but they're probably mostly fuckboys.
Oh my God. I feel like fuckboys when you travel are everywhere. Everywhere. Because I think that one of the main problem is like because you're traveling, like a lot of people are just here on vacation and then it's just boys wanting to like fuck around and they don't care.
Yes.
They really don't care.
I will say I've had probably a perfect blend of all of the experiences that you can have.
Same. Well, I think you had more like cute long-term travel romance. I had really a lot of short-term funny one.
Yeah, and we should remind people like we are 8 years apart.
Yeah.
So I'm much older than you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I have, but you also date more than me. So you have she has some great stories.
But also the fact that because I ended up my last relationship of 4 years in last August and now we're recording it's in June. So I feel like after this long relationship, I wasn't ready for anything serious. And as soon as I broke up with him, I started traveling, and then I wasn't looking for anything serious. And if you travel and you're not looking for anything serious, so easy because nobody wants something serious, and it's literally Love Island. I love to call solo traveling, especially in Southeast Asia, Love Island. If you've ever watched the show, it's just a reality TV show. You enter a hostel and everybody's flirting with everybody. Literally. And it's kind of fun. I love it.
And I think like just knowing you had, it was first a 2-year relationship.
Yeah.
And then almost 4 years.
Yeah.
So you were in a serious relationship for basically 6 years of your life. With 2 different boyfriends.
Yes, and I started dating my first boyfriend. I was just before 18. So for so long, I was just not single. And I had no idea how to flirt because my 2 boyfriends were my best friend first. And then they become my boyfriend. So
that's a whole other topic, by the way. That is a whole...
I'm learning a lot here. By the way, people, you cannot call anybody babe because this is mixed signals. But anyways, yeah, this is a whole other topic. But because of that, because when you're single at 16 and when you're single at 25, the game is different. So different. And I feel like traveling taught me so much about dating, flirting. I was so bad at it. Like, I had no idea what I was doing.
Which is really funny because you are such a confident flirt now. And she has no shame, like giving a guy her Instagram or her number. She has this bar trick where she wears colorful sunglasses. And she goes to the bar in these sunglasses. And then she like takes them down a little bit so she can show her eyes. And this is such a good way to show a guy that you're interested. I don't know if you need the dramatics of the sunglasses, but if you know Beatrice in person, it is so funny. It is so perfect. And I think it works for you a lot, right?
It works. Well, I don't know if it works a lot, but I'm trying.
She tries different. She's creative,
Yeah,
people.
I'm creative. I know one day, I think the two most like, well, not creative way, but the two most like times I was like, this is really nerve wracking was the first time was in Vietnam. I wrote on a napkin. I wrote, I think you're the father of my kids. I put my phone number, and there was this hot guy, so hot, in the club, and I went to him and I gave him the napkin, but it worked.
And he thought it was really cute, right?
I thought, yeah, because he started laughing. You know, you have to give it to him, but you're not serious. It's just like, ha ha ha. And then you started laughing, and then he's like, hey, what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And it starts the conversation.
Ah,
So that was the first one that was really funny. And then the second one was I put this song Water on my phone. And it's like, well, if you don't know the song Water, it says like, make me sweat, make me water, make me lose my mind, make me water, something like that. So I went to a guy at the hostel and I put this song into his ear. And turns out this guy had 18. They were a group of 18 Australian boys.
heaven.
Heaven.
We love Aussies. We'll get into that later.
Yes. Anyways, I learned, but I learned the hard way. Like this is, I would have never done that at the beginning. But now I feel like when you're traveling also, you don't care because you're not going to see these people again. I would never do this in my hometown. Never, ever, ever.
Well, so Beatrice and I really connected because we both were in serious 4-year relationships, both of us,
Yes.
when we started our solo travel journey. And she talked about hers a little bit, but I had a similar experience. I was 23 years old, so like 10 years ago at this point, and I had been dating my partner for 4 years. But I booked my first cruise ship job, and it was 7 months in the Mediterranean. And I already knew that our relationship wasn't going to work. We just were not a match. And he was like a pretty disrespectful partner. I just didn't have the guts to end it. Like, I was so young. I didn't know how to stand up for myself and have healthy boundaries. So I think naturally, when I went onto the cruise ship, we were still together, but it was about 2 months into my contract when I was just like, I knew this relationship was not healthy for me. It was not right. And I ended it with him. And oh man, I mean, that's a whole other thing, having a serious partner and then choosing to go live your dream and travel. And you've spoken about this so much on your Instagram.
Yeah, but and I can relate to this because it's so hard. And because we were talking about this last night with Ali and just two people from the house, and we were saying that breaking up with someone because you're following your dream instead of like breaking up with someone because he cheated on you or he's such a bad guy, like he was like really toxic, or like, you know, when you have a reason to hate this person, it's so much easier. But when you break up with someone because you just want to follow your dream, not only it's hard for the other person, but it's also hard for you because it's like it's for your dream, you're making this sacrifice, but this other person, well, I don't know, you're saying that he wasn't really a good guy, but still you probably still loved him, and without this dream you were probably gonna stay with him for longer.
Yeah, well, I think he was totally different than your boyfriend, but my other very serious relationship, that was a huge difference between us. He did not travel at all. He had no interest in traveling. I want to see the world. Like, that is my biggest passion and my biggest dream. And we were just so incompatible in that way. So even though there were other incompatibilities, you know, like marriage and kids, this was also for me like a deal breaker because that's so, so important to me. And Beatrice and I have said, like, we don't have to be traveling 24/7. We don't have to constantly be living this crazy life, but we do want a partner that has an open mindset and has a desire to at least like want to experience other cultures, and not cultures that are really comfortable and similar to your own. So, you know, we want to get to the crazy places and the places that are so different than what we come from, because I think that's when you really, really grow as a person.
Yeah, 100%. And I just want to add also that because my ex was, he loved traveling and he traveled so much and we traveled together. And even though we had this passion about travel together, the main issue was we weren't at the same place at the same, he wasn't ready yet to start traveling full time. But like even I saw him again in March and he was telling me maybe next year he's going to go on a like travel full time for a year. So wait, I love your face. She's like just looking at me. What?
Well, with Beatrice's guy, there's maybe a chance because he's actually a good guy.
No, he is a good guy, and but you know we weren't ready at the same place, and I knew that if I was keeping teaching for 2 more years waiting for him, I would be miserable. So I had to do it at this time, and I think everything happened for a reason in life, and you just have to trust what what's the plan for you, and you just have to follow your gut. And my gut was screaming to me, and we were talking about that last night, like your gut, even right now if you're listening deep down, you know exactly what you have to do. You know it. There's a voice inside you telling you exactly what you have to do. And you may call this voice your gut feeling, God, the universe. No matter like who this little voice inside you is, there's someone somewhere telling you what you know already, what's your purpose. You know already what you have to do. But it is the scariest thing ever. And that's why most people will just shut down this voice and just hide it and just get busy to not hear it. But deep down or inside you, you know it. And even if you're in a relationship right now, you know if this person is the right person for you or not. You know it. It's just admitting the reality and the truth sometimes is scary.
It is scary and it's hard. And we've talked about this, like with my second serious relationship I was telling you about, when you end a relationship, not because you're not in love still, like it is because of this gut feeling of these differences that you just aren't aligned with. And that is the hardest thing, is when you still really love that person, but you have to put yourself first in, you have to be aligned in what like your soul feels.
Yes, yes, you have. And please never say this is selfish, because at the end of the day, it's your life.
And I also feel like it's more selfish to stay with that person if you have that feeling.
Yes, because you're not going to be the best version of yourself. Because you're not going to be aligned with what's your true purpose. You're not going to be aligned with what you're truly meant to be. And it's just going to make you not the best version of yourself, and then you're not the best partner you're not the best partner for your boyfriend or your girlfriend. So I think you really have to follow this gut. And even though if it's a good guy, even though if it's a healthy relationship, even though if you're like so in love, if this gut feeling is talking to you, listen to it, because it might take like 10 years, but maybe in 10 years this gut feeling is still going to be there, and you're just going to be miserable, and
Yeah.
you're going to regret it.
Yes. So speaking from our experience, just you listen to your gut and, trust that, because that's going to be what's best for you and what's
Yes,
best for them
please.
ultimately.
Yes.
So when you are in that kind of, after you're having your single girl era or single boy era, that is where traveling, it can be so much more interesting.
So fun.
It can be really fun.
It can be so fun. And I think that after breakup for me, I was like, I'm not ready for anything serious. I need to experience what is single life like at 25, because 16 it's not counting.
No.
And I just had so much fun, because you're entering literally a reality TV show every time you enter a hostel, and especially if you're into nightlife. Right now I calm down, but after like the breakup, I was disconnected. I love to say that my frontal lobe, that's why, like, I have a friend, and this is true. I have a friend, she studied to like in psychology, and she was literally telling me, like, when you experience such a high emotion, your frontal lobe in your brain is disconnecting to protect you. And that's when you, like, you're driven by all of your emotion and you do stupid things. And I think that the first 6 months after the breakup, the first 6 months of my solo travel journey, my frontal lobe wasn't connected, and I did. That's why I have so many great boys story, because it's just like everybody's flirting with everybody, especially at hostels.
Yeah, hostel life is so different. And we were kind of talking about your our attachment styles as well.
Yes.
Where I'm more secure now, but when I was younger, I was 100% anxious attachment. And so for me, like the hookup culture and the dating and like the quick relationships were not suited for me. Like I am such a hopeless romantic where I'd if I did have a hookup with a guy or a couple weeks travel romance, I always was like, they're the love of my life. I want more. I could never just be like, this is a fling, whatever. And even though I knew that, because it's true, like most of the times they live in a different country, they're not looking for something serious. For me, I have had to tone that down so much where it's like, I am only looking for something serious. But, and then we were talking about with Beatrice, you felt much more avoidant after your breakup
Yes.
where you
And
could have these like crazy fun romances and then like be totally fine afterwards.
yes, but I think so. There's two things to this. I think it's important to ask. I think it's so nice that you know this, that you have this kind of attachment, and you put your limits. So then you don't get hurt from it. And I think it's important to take time to reflect and know exactly what you truly want, because you can get hurt and like so deeply, because I mean, boys and girls, or girls and girls, or boys and boys, whatever, like love relationships, it's a bunch of emotion in there, and it's so easy to get hurt. So this is the first point. And then the second thing is, yes, after breakup, I wasn't ready for anything serious, anything. So I went a little bit crazy. But I remember that before I came back home for Christmas, I felt I felt like something was missing inside me. Like I wasn't feeling good. Like I messed around. Like for 6 months I was like crazy. But before coming back home, like I realized like my self-esteem wasn't that great. My like I just lost like kind of a sparkle inside me. And then when I came back home, I had time to reflect, and I just realized that, when you have like intimate relationship with someone, you give a little piece of yourself. And when this person becomes someone important for you, it's fine. But if you like just give this little piece to everybody, and it's just like little fling, like to every new city you're visiting, but it's not someone special, and it's not someone you've like truly like connected with, well, you just give a little piece of yourself everywhere, and then you feel lost. And I know that when I came back home, I felt so lost, and my self-esteem wasn't that great. And so I had to work a lot of like on that, a lot. And also like all the partying, it's really exhausting. And like all mixing alcohol, like mixing alcohol with sex, it's not a good fit, especially if you're unstable emotionally. So I feel like I had distant attachment. What's the word?
Avoidant.
Avoidant attachment, because I was protecting myself, because I was experiencing so much like emotion with my breakup I didn't want to face. But coming back home, I could finally face the real emotions, and now I feel much better. And now, yes, I'm not ready to have like something 100% serious, but I'm not gonna like go fuck around and like party. Like I really cut on the partying. Well, here since we arrived, I went to one party in 1 month, and then I keep like not going on these dates, because I'm like I'm more selective, and I think it's good, because if you're just like who cares, and you're just having sex, like at the end of the day, it's gonna like catch you back.
Yeah, catch up to you. But I think it's also like so healthy at the same time to explore
Yes.
and like really let yourself be free. And
Yes.
you were in a relationship for so long. And if you feel like I want to have 6 months of just like crazy partying, sex, hookup, whatever, like that is so your choice to be able to do that and to
Yes.
express that part of yourself. And like you were still doing it in a relatively healthy way. I don't think you were reckless,
No.
but I think I can totally relate to you with like it finally caught up to you and like maybe realizing that that lifestyle wasn't a fit for you, but also like not feeling badly about having that period in your life.
No, I don't regret it at all. Like, if I had to do it again, I would do it again. But I'm just saying that, like, you have to maybe. I think if I had to do it again, I would reflect a little bit, and maybe some of them I would, like, withdraw some little guy that were not worth it.
We've all been there. It was not worth the tears for me.
No.
A lot of it was followed up by like tear. Like, I don't understand. They don't want to be in a relationship with me after one night.
Yeah.
That's so me though.
That was me. I was like the guy version. I was like, is he really? Did he just ask me to go have breakfast with him? What's wrong with him?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, we're getting married. See, yeah.
So yeah, I just think you have to listen to you, and definitely like this party phase and like hook up and whatever. It helped kind of for the breakup because I could move on. I think I needed that. Like I needed to like let go of so many stuff. But now I'm at a different place and I'm still learning because here in the house there's a majority of men, sorry, not boys. And I think like telling my stories and everything and like how I think about men and boys, I think I have so much to learn about, but it's a learning process, it's a learning curve.
And I think it's interesting with travel. Sometimes it can give people maybe an excuse to not be as respectful. And I think just dating culture in general
Yes.
is so interesting. And when you add the travel part of it as well, I don't know. I had this experience with this guy in Peru, and we were on a group trip, and he was so nice and cool, and like we would literally chat for hours a day. And nothing happened between the two of us for like the first week. And then all of a sudden we kissed, like he kissed me at a bar one night. And I was like, yeah, he's cool. Like I felt like I interviewed him and you know, I vetted him and I made sure he was normal and nice and cool. And then we kissed one night, and then literally the next day, he did not look me in the eye. He did not say hi. He completely ignored me, like acted like I didn't exist. I was like, that is so weird, because
So weird.
to just go from like so kind and so cool and like normal to then like I didn't exist. And then we were on this group trip, obviously, so we were spending 2 weeks together. Then he like messaged me the next night, like I had left dinner early and he was just making sure I was okay. I was like, okay, this is mixed signals. Like, you noticed I left dinner. And then I was kind of like gaslighting myself, thinking, okay, maybe I was overthinking the ignoring thing, whatever, give him another chance. We ended up sleeping together. Next day, like I didn't exist.
It's so weird.
Literally.
What's wrong with him?
Did not ask how I was, look me in the eye, nothing. And then we went on a 4-day hike together on the Inca Trail. Didn't talk to me once. Was so fucking weird.
So weird.
So weird. So I finally said something. And he said to me, and I quote, when I basically described to him, like, it was really weird how you were really cool and open. Like, we would talk for hours, and then all of a sudden, you literally don't acknowledge my existence. And that makes me feel like shit. Like,
Yeah.
I am not with this guy. I was not trying to push a relationship, not pushing anything. I was very like, this is a travel romance.
Yeah.
But you can still like treat me like a normal person. And I said,
100%.
just treat me like you did before we hooked up. Like, talk to me, because that makes me feel like you only spoke to me just to sleep with me, and that feels like shit.
Yeah.
And he said, well, if you were a girl at the bar, I wouldn't talk to you again.
But you're not a girl at the bar.
And
What's wrong
I
with
was like,
him?
it was like talking to a brick wall. I said,
Oh
I
my
am
god.
not a girl at the bar. I am on a very intense 2-week trip with
We're
you.
together 24/7, literally.
Like, just treat me like a normal person.
Ugh,
And
guys.
and so what I'm saying is, I think sometimes when you add travel and you add romance, it like can really give guy or girl a reason to like maybe be worse. I, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes totally sense. And I think that in this, there's a lot of things, but one of the things is that some guys, well, will say it. Some guys are really scared of a tad like commitment. And I think that like the fact that they know already that you're not living in the same country as them, they already put you in the box not serious.
That's exactly
Automatic.
right.
It's automatic. And so then when you think that you might be like you are trying to figure out on your side like how you can manage that even if you don't live in the same country and you don't understand his reaction is because in his brain you are stuck in the box not serious. She doesn't live in the same country as me. It's impossible to be with this girl. I'm just gonna fuck around with her.
Exactly. And it's like they know the trip's ending in a week. There's no point in like investing or treating you kindly. But the opposite is it could be the complete opposite, like love bombing. It's not one size fits all.
No, and I have the cutest travel romance story.
Yes, we have so many successful ones that we want to share. It's
Yes.
not all doom and gloom. And I really believe that like you will meet your person
Yeah.
when you want to, and you can meet your person in anywhere you go.
But there are cute, really cute love stories, successful love stories, and it's possible. And I think it's important to highlight them. So we have this first story coming from Anna, and Anna has the cutest ever story. So I went to Vietnam with this girl called Anna. She was a solo travel girl, and we met in Hanoi. And together, we met like the last night that I was leaving, and she was in my dorm, and I was telling her, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to Sapa. Like I just need to escape Hanoi. This is too much party for me. I'm going to Sapa, isolate myself. You want to come? I just said that. And by the way, this is a quick tip. Like if you like somebody like in your dorm, just invite them. You never know if they're gonna say yes. So anyways, she said yes, and then we ended up going to Sapa together. And the first night, two Dutch guys arrived. And two Dutch guys arrived, and one of them was Joop. That's his name. And with them, we started chatting, and we asked them like, "Hey, tomorrow we're doing like a trekking in Sapa. You want to come?" And the boys were like, "Yeah, no problem." So they went on the trek with us, and we ended up being like this little group of 7 people. So we were 3 Dutch guys and 4 girls, and there was Anna and there was Joop. And the hike was maybe 5 hours. Well, I don't know, but it was a long hike. And the whole hike, like Anna and Joop, they were laughing together, the cutest like little fling starting. And then at lunch, that was the cutest thing ever. At lunch, we were all sitting, and there was like these little girls coming to tables and trying to sell us like bracelets. And this girl had a good selling pitch. She was a good seller. She started like going to all the boys at our table, and she was like, "You should buy this bracelet for your girlfriend. Like this is like good luck bracelet. It's gonna like." See, if you buy it and you give it to the girl you want, she's gonna become your girlfriend, blah blah blah. And she kept on going for like 30 minutes, and then Joop bought it and he gave it to Anna, and Anna kept it. And then with this group of people, we just decided to travel for 3 weeks together because we became really close. And I just saw the evolution of this little cute travel ramen story, and they became so close, and they are so good to each other, and they're just like so compatible. And she's from the UK, he's Dutch, but they were both traveling for a long time. And after I had to move to Japan, and like after Vietnam, we separated. But this was in October, and now we are in May, June, almost June, and they are still traveling together. Now they are in Australia together and they're working there together. And it's been like such a long time. And honestly, I'm just waiting for like to get invited to their wedding. Like, if you're listening, please, I want to be invited to your wedding. I just think it's the cutest ever travel ramen story.
It's so true. And I think it's just, I am totally manifesting that, by the
Oh,
way.
me too.
Like how that is an amazing story. And honestly, it's like, yes, we have talked about all of the travel romance fails, and I don't even like to call them fails because it's all just experience. And it
Yes.
all gets you to where you're supposed to be and where you're meant to be. And I just think it's so fun to hear people's successful love stories while traveling. Oh,
Yes.
and I have a big one too. One of my best friends is from Slovenia. I met her. She was my roommate on a cruise ship like 6 years ago at this point. She was a dancer. I was a singer. We had little bunk bed and a tiny little cabin together. So we just became really, really close. And it was a Chinese cruise line. So pretty much the whole cruise ship was Chinese people and Chinese crew members and everything. And there was one band from the UK. And then there were just a couple of us from either the States or more Eastern European countries. Anyway, we became best friends with this group from the UK. And at first, they were all just our friends. Then one of them turned into my boyfriend for 6 months, the whole length of the cruise ship. So that honestly was a pretty successful.
It is.
6 months is a long time for
when
a
you're
travel
traveling.
romance.
Yes, it is.
And anyway, the other guy was not her partner at all. They were just friends. So they were like best friends, which
If we have an opinion on this,
we have an opinion on this.
It could.
And nothing happened because she had a long distance boyfriend in Italy. So they were just friends. We all ended our contract and they kept in touch. They both ended up coming back to the cruise ship a couple months later. And then she was single at the time. And that's when their love story started. And it has been 5 years.
That's so cute.
They are still together. He was from England in Liverpool and she was from Slovenia. And once they finished their contract on the cruise ship, he moved to Slovenia for her. And they've been there ever since.
That's
and
so cute.
they are literally the cutest couple. They're so in love. And they just, honestly, they just show that you can completely meet your partner while
Yes.
traveling.
Yes, you can.
You totally can.
And yes, it might be a little bit harder sometimes because you don't live in the same country. But I think at the end of the day, love is so strong. It can make you, if it's meant to work out, it's going to work out.
Yeah. And I think also when you are a traveler, it's not as intimidating to the idea of moving to another country.
True.
Because you are already like loving that lifestyle and loving new culture.
And you already have this like big thing in common.
Exactly.
So that's really cool. And I think here at the house, because the house can be a little Love Island too. And
It can.
we should do, Yanina and another girl from the house and we were talking about starting a reality TV show in the house. Because there's not really drama, but there's love stories a lot. And I think that like, here there's like long-term boys and girls living together and friendships becoming more than friendship. And there are successful stories of like little love stories that started here in the house and they're still together and nobody live in the same country, but they're figuring it out.
Yeah. And I think it also is like when you are already a nomad,
Yeah.
like you can live in a country that's not either of your home countries.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't matter if you're like working remotely.
Exactly.
So I think the biggest challenge, would you move for a guy?
Yes,
Yes.
I would.
I think like, I feel like I'm so close to my family and my friends. It would be hard. I would need him to move to Canada.
I think for me, it's maybe having a home base where I'm from and a home base where he's from.
Yeah.
Because, and we don't have any limiting beliefs here. And we're like, I can have 2 homes.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, we just got to like call it into our existence. But I think it obviously depends. Like when you meet the right person, I think like that is going to be the most important thing.
Yes.
And you just make it work.
Yes, exactly. Love is strong.
Yeah.
But now, so this is the beauty part. And hopefully it's going to happen to both of us. But for now, we have other stories that went, how do we say that?
Not so well?
Not so well. Kind of a fail. But it's a good story at the end of the day and it's good entertainment.
Well, and so it's basically like when you do meet somebody and you want to see them again,
Yeah.
it's like the danger or the learning curve of going on another trip with them and getting to know them better. Because we were saying how like a travel romance can be so elevated and so exciting because when you're traveling, everything is new and everything is exciting. And that can really heighten the emotion of a travel romance. And so if that trip ends and you're planning to see each other again, it's interesting.
Yes, because it's like, I feel like there's such, the honeymoon phase of a couple. Every couple has a honeymoon phase. But when you're traveling, the honeymoon phase is even much more like intense. But then when you go out of this honeymoon phase, well,
Sometimes it doesn't go as planned.
Do you want to start with your story?
Yes, I would say the biggest one I had in this way, I was doing a contract in the Caribbean. I was singing at a place for 3 weeks. And I met a guitarist. And he was actually French Canadian.
Whoa.
He was from Montreal. And for me, it was actually, I wasn't attracted to him at first, but he really grew on me.
Yeah.
And we spent so much time together because we were on this small island in the Caribbean. We were both performing at the hotel. And I started to like him. There was a big age gap. He was like 16 years older than me.
16?
Yeah.
What? You never told me this part. 16?
Yes. He was so much older than me. I don't know. I had travel like goggles. I definitely had like guitarist musician goggles on. Anyway, he was very talented and he grew on me and he was like really pursuing me too. And I just like, we kissed one night and then the rest was history. Like I literally felt like I was in love with him. And I told this other girl who was a dancer there, and I was like, I literally feel like I'm in love with this guy. And she's like, Emma, you're just on a trip right now. Just don't take it, because he was kind of like the avoidant one at this time. And I was super attached, as I naturally do that. Anyway, and so it ended. Like we both flew back to where we were going. He was living in Paris at the time. I was going back to LA. And then I remember we would like message here and there and keep in touch, but I was so into him. I actually, this is how desperado I was. Because he was living in Paris, my friend who was living in Switzerland, I went to go visit her like a month or two later because she was only a couple hours on the train away from Paris. So in my head, I was like, oh, well, I'll just casually be in Switzerland. And then he'll be like, oh my God, Emma's in Switzerland. I need to take the train to go see her. And we were planning to do that. Like he was on board.
Okay, he was taking the plane to see you.
Well, he was going to take the train. It was only 4 hours on the train. I was like, great. Anyway, he never did it. He was like, no, the weather's bad. I'm not going to go. I'm going to go to Spain instead. Like, so fuckboy.
Fuckboy.
I was like, okay. Immediately turned the switch off. And I was like, done. Ended up meeting the hottest Swiss guy. I literally said out loud, I said, universe, show me better. I am not kidding you. In a couple days, I met the hottest guy ever. Like my favorite travel romance story, but we'll put a pin in that. And then I was disconnected from this guy, the French Canadian one, went back to LA. It was months later. He messaged me and he asked if I wanted to come meet him in Sicily and perform with him for a couple of weeks. And I said, okay, sure. Because at this point, I was like, yeah, we're just friends. Like, I was super close with his...
We're just friends. You cannot be friends with someone you had something.
And then it got complicated.
Oh, really? Shocking.
So then I go to Sicily and we're performing and nothing happens for the first like a week and a half, 10 days. And then we kissed. So then
And then you kissed.
and then we kissed. And then we kind of like picked up where we had left off. But the thing was, like, I was so disconnected this time because I already saw a lot of the red flags.
Yeah. And you had another guy between.
I had another guy between. And so I kind of was just like, okay, he just had fun in the Caribbean. I'm just going to have fun this time. It's not that big of a deal. So we did that. And then he fell in love. He told me he was in love with me. And he was like manifesting me as his wife and had it on his vision board and children. And I really think it was like because I was so disconnected this time. And I was like, I'm just going to put in the same energy that I felt from you because like that's all it is. So I didn't have any expectation, any hope. All of a sudden it was like, I'm in love with you. I want to marry you. I'm ready to have children. Literally said these things to me.
Can I say something? Guys always come back. Always. I've never seen a guy not coming back. And what's wrong with you guys? Like I don't know if there's guys listening. Honestly, they always come back when you've moved on.
Yeah. And it's just like, for me, it was too late. And so
yeah,
I had already seen, I have not even touched on the 50 red flags that there were. And it's like, I am not perfect at all. But like the things that he was doing and the way he was treating me, even when he was saying he was in love with me, were so messed up. Like, I'm shocked that I continued for as long as I did. I mean, it was only a couple months, but there were so many red flags. Anyway, it's one of those situations where like I blocked him from my life and he still finds ways to reach out to me.
That's crazy.
So this was my like experience of seeing a travel romance again and it not going that well. But I learned so much and I don't regret it. I really don't.
Yeah, and I can relate to that because I have kind of a similar but different story.
Yes, you do.
Because right after the breakup, I was working in West Canada, like near Vancouver, the whole summer, and I was at this hostel. And at the hostel, I went on a walking tour, and it was like a 12-hour walking tour. Such a long thing.
Who planned that?
I don't.
That is it's like 10 hours too long.
I know. Anyways, I went there. Thank you. There was like a cute guy, so I was entertained. That's my thing. It's like if I'm doing something boring or if I'm doing something, if there's a cute guy, I have a new goal. And it's like my game for the day. So he was my game for the day. And we ended up having so much in common, so much. And so we ended up chatting the whole tour, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the tour, we became close with like the whole group. And we decided to have pizza. And there was like a movie outside in Stanley Park. So it was like an outside movie. You just like bring your blankets and you sit on the grass and you watch the movie. So we decided to go there as a group. And I was like, okay, this is happening tonight. Like, I was like, of course, I got all pretty. And all the girls were like, I'm sure something is going to happen between you two, blah, blah, blah. And then we went to the movie. And then people literally, we were sitting on the grass. There was the whole group sitting like 2 meters away from us. Like, we were sitting just the two of us. And people, like, the rest of the group said away to let us our space. And then I felt like in high school, literally. We were sitting on the ground like two kids, and it's like our shoulders were touching, and then his hand moved a little bit closer, and my hand moved a little bit closer. And like I remember, like my heart was beating so fast, and I had the butterflies. It was just like so smooth and slow, like literally like your first date in high school. Like it was so cute, and then we kissed. And then we went back to the hostel and had a private room. And anyways.
And I wonder what happened.
I wonder. I don't know. I don't
No
remember.
idea.
And anyways, he was still there for 3 more days. And I was still in Vancouver for 3 more days because after I had to go back to work. It was like 3 hours outside of Vancouver. So for these 3 days, we were together 24/7. And it was the cutest little travel romance. He was so sweet, paying for everything, bringing me everywhere. So sweet. Like, and we got along so well. Like, we had so much in common. He also had his business. He was traveling full time, blah, blah, blah. But then he was going to Hawaii and I had to go back to work. So we kept in touch and we texted every single day, like for months. Well, for months, for like 2 months. And then I was telling him, yeah, so I have this trip in Bali. That's where we met in
Oh,
September.
yes.
And I have this trip in Bali in like September 14. So I think I'm gonna go like a week in Japan before, and then we can meet. And then I'm gonna go to Bali. I just say that I'm not even inviting him, and I know he is in Vietnam. And he's like, yeah, I can fly to Japan and we can have a week together. And I'm like, oh, okay, yes, like fly to Japan. So we ended up like booking this private room and meeting up again in Japan. But so 2 months happened between these two moments, and I never thought I was gonna see him again. So I kept on going my single life, and I saw other guys, and I think it kind of disconnected me to him. So when I arrived in Japan, first of all, I was so jet lagged, so jet lagged. I was exhausted, and so the first night he was getting on my nerve, but I was like, it's just me being tired. But then the second day, I was like, I had a really good night's sleep. Still getting on my nerve, and he was giving me the ick for so many things. And I don't know why. It's just like a switch in my brain. And like you, I had other guys between. I think that's the problem. Like you had your other like Switzerland boy in between. I think it like messed up with my brain. So after 2 days, I was like, this is I cannot like he gives me the ick, and when I have the ick, there's nothing I can do. It's too late. Like
Yeah, you
there's
can't
nothing
go
you can.
back.
No, you cannot go back. And so I was like, I cannot even sleep with this boy. And but we had this a bed together, and so I told him I had a skin reaction.
This is so random, by the way. I just love it. I skin reaction. This is what she pulled out of the hat. Like, okay, this one, this reason will do.
This reason will work. No, it's because he was so sexual. I'm like 95% sure that saying I was in my period wouldn't work, and he would have said, I don't care. So I was like, I cannot use this card. I need to find something stronger. And a skin reaction down there is so strong because it's like, and he was so sweet also. He was like, well, you want to go to the doctor? You want to show me? Like, we can, like, maybe do something. I have cream, maybe, blah, blah, blah. He was like, we can go to the pharmacy. I was like, no, 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 it's fine. Like, sometimes it happens. I don't know what it is, blah, blah, blah. And then that's how I ended up not sleeping with him for the rest of the trip. And then I was like saying, like, I'm always busy. I need to work. So I was like isolating myself in the coffee shop. But it was not, it was not good.
Yeah, that's difficult because it's like, do you end the trip? Probably should have just ended the trip, but you guys paid for housing and everything, you said, right?
Exactly. We paid for everything. And I was like, this is not even 1 week. It was like 5 days. I was like, I'm going to Bali. I was just like, let's go with it. And I mean, we were getting along. It's just
Yeah.
like he was giving me the ick.
I think honestly, like what I've learned with age is you just have to be honest.
Yeah,
Because-
that's my 2024 challenge.
Yes, honestly, because it's so much better to just say how you feel
Yeah.
and be really honest. And
100%.
because when I was younger, that was a big struggle for me. And like I would just dance around how I really felt. But yeah, I mean, it's hard when you're on a trip, you're sharing a room every night. I have totally been there with the ick and that, like with other boys. But God, I know exactly how you feel. I want to hear your funniest travel or romance story.
Oh my God. I have so many. So many. The fact that I wasn't looking for something serious, I just have funny hookup story. But before the episode, I was scrolling down my list and I chose, I think this is a really, really good one. Me too. It's with an Australian.
Yes.
So I guess funny stories comes with an Australian. It was in Canada. I was at this hostel, and like I think it was on Wednesday, whatever. There was this trivia game, and it was starting quite early. And we started this trivia game, and I sat with this random group of people that became my friends for the night. And sitting across us, there was like this group of really, really, really cute boys. And this is my tip. Well, this is an advantage for everybody speaking another language than English. Everybody, please take notes. Like, if you're speaking just English, just learn another language because it is so useful. Because the girl was speaking French, I was speaking French. So we were literally talking French about the two guys sitting next to us, saying how hot they were. And they had no clue. No clue. And we were like elaborating this whole plan together with them sitting next to us, but we were just speaking it, saying it in French. It's just so useful. Anyways, so we started a trivia game, and then there was like a break for smokers, I guess, and like you go to the toilet and whatever. And then this group of boys, they go outside to smoke. And I'm not a smoker, but the girl was a smoker, and she was like, "Let's go outside. Like they're going outside. We'll go with them." So we go there, and so the way we approached them, well, the way she approached them, she's like, "Do you have a lighter?" And so that's how it started the conversation. And I'm just chilling with them, and I look at them. I look at him. I have one specific in mind, and he's so nice. We laugh a little bit, but then after 10 minutes, we have to come back inside. We finish the trivia game, and again after the whole trivia game night, they go outside again to smoke. So we go again outside, and this time like him and I were like sitting because we were doing a circle, and him and I were like next to each other in the circle, and so we started chatting more. And then he's like, "Let's go inside, like have a shot and like just talk the two of us." So we talk more, we have a shot, and then at this point it's maybe like 10 or 11, and literally everybody from the hostels is still in the bar in the hostel. And so, and all of his roommates are in the bar. So he's like, "I'm pretty sure, I think my room is empty." And the way the hostel was made is so weird because it used to be like a place for the army. So it was like a dorm for like soldier.
So was it just like a big open room kind
It
of?
was just a huge, big open room. And they were fitting 30 people in there. But your room technically was just four, and it was just surrounded by curtains. So between like the first four beds and the other four beds, there was just a curtain.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but it was really weird. And so you don't have a curtain around your bed, you just have a curtain around the four beds. So he was like, "I think that the three other guys in my room are still in here in the bar, so let's go, just go to my room." So anyways, we go there.
My curtain room.
Yeah, my curtain room, literally. And I'm so sorry, mom and dad. I hope you're
Just
never listening.
Just don't
to this.
listen.
Just stop listening to this episode, please. So we go in there, and we started having sex, and it was really, really good. But then after like, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes, a guy enters and opens the curtains, and at this point, the lights are on. I'm fully naked on top of him. Like, this guy just enters in the middle of
Oh
it.
my God.
And he just closes the curtain, and he's like, "Sorry, sorry." And he leaves. So, but wait, this is getting better. So we're like, "Oh, shoot." But we're like, "Well, he's probably going to tell the others to not come in the room. So let's just finish quickly." So we're just finishing quickly. But then, like maybe 3 minutes later, someone else is coming in the dorm, and it's the receptionist, and she opens the curtain. I'm still naked on top of him.
Oh.
And she's like, started yelling at us. She's like, "You cannot do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to wait for you outside. This is like so not good." So we like dressed really quickly, and we have like this walk of shame outside of the dorm. But the thing is, like, yes, there is just these four beds, but there were probably other people in this room of 30 people that heard
100%.
that heard the whole situation.
Oh my God. What? So bold.
And then She's waiting outside and she looks at him and she's like, give me your key. And so he gives her key. And she looks at me and she's like, give me your key. And I'm like, I'm not at this hostel. I don't know. Like, I'm not here. I was really staying at this hostel, but I wanted to keep my key. So anyway, she's like, you two are kicked out. Like, I don't want to ever see you again. So we go out of the hostel, but it was good. And we still didn't finish. So we decided to go on the beach because there was a beach next to the hostel. So we finished there on the beach. And then I'm like, I'm pretty sure we can come back to my hostel, like to my bed, because it's a different room. So what we do is we go back to the hostel and we tried entering in the back door. So the back door was like near the employee area, and he knew some of them, so we're just like doing small talk and chilling with them for like 30 minutes, and after 30 minutes we're just entering by this door, and then we go in my dorm and we did it again, but much quieter.
Beatrice. She's like, that went so well the first time, let's do it again.
Let's
go for it.
Let's risk it to the fullest. No, but to be fair, his room was a male-only dorm. And I think that was another main problem, is that it was male-only. I was a female. I was not supposed to be there.
Were you
and
in a
I
mixed
was in
dorm?
a mixed.
Okay.
It doesn't make it better. I really do not recommend sleeping with someone in the dorm. But I'm guilty. And I've learned the hard way. But I have so many good stories. I feel like we should do another episode of this topic.
We definitely should. And
it's so good.
We wanted to share our little secret because we
got you.
I speak Spanish as a second language. She obviously speaks French and English, but together we created a little like language together.
Yes, and this started in our trip in Bali, because the trip we did, it was a content creator trip, and there were some cute guys.
Yes, there were.
And we were with them for like 3 days full time. And we wanted to talk about them without talking, like saying their names or whatever.
We wanted to like make the other person know who we thought was cute, but we couldn't make it obvious.
Yes.
So we created this little secret lingo.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you think a guy is cute, you say there's a doctor.
Yes.
Because nobody hears that.
No. I feel like if you're sitting just the two of us and we're sitting with one guy and we're saying you're a doctor, he can kind of figure it out. But at a club, if you're saying like he's a doctor, he's not going to figure out. It's not a trigger.
Exactly. And so doctor is like 100%. You're like, he's cute. I'm interested. I want to talk to him. If somebody you're like a little bit unsure of and you need to talk to them and maybe see if there's chemistry, he's in medical school.
Yes.
And then if you just are like immediately no, like I just can tell, I know I'm not attracted to anybody, then they're high school dropout.
Yes.
So that helps us kind of distinguish.
And also, if the guy has a girl, you can say he has a nurse.
Yes.
So, we're not touching guys with girls.
He has a nurse or a female doctor. Not that we have to clarify she's female, but
Yeah.
It just helps us with our brains.
Yeah, yeah.
So
we got you. And I have a good story about this because I used it. I'm spreading this code to every girl I meet when I solo travel. Because I'm like, if we're going to go out together, you need to know my code because we need to communicate together.
Yeah.
And in Vietnam, I was with the same group of people all the time. And there's this really so hot guy sitting next to me. So hot. 100% my type. And I look at Anna and I'm like, he's a doctor. And he looks at me and he's like, how do you know I'm a doctor?
That's perfect.
And I was so screwed. I ended up telling him, and anyways.
You told him, you're like, listen, I really think you're super hot.
I literally told him.
And what did he say?
Well, I mean, it's a big compliment. He was happy, It's good for the ego.
Yes, it is. That's so cute. Well, that's our little thing we wanted to share with you. And we wanted to share our solo female creator of the week.
Yes. And it's one of our friends. Her name is Lauren. She's staying in the house with us. She's amazing. She's starting her content creator journey. But she's doing so good. And her story, because she also has a little travel romance here at the house. That's why we're choosing her for this episode. But she's a real solo female traveler because she came here in Bali by herself because she's doing an internship in marketing, I think, here in Bali. And she decided to stay at the house here. And that's where she met Alex, a Canadian boy. So she's from Belgium, he's from Canada. So they still have to struggle the struggle of like, we're not living in the same country. It's gonna be, I know that like mid-June is their date that they're gonna be separated and they're trying to figure out, but they're working on it and they have good communication. I'm really hoping and I think it's gonna work out. And so yes, her name is Lauren, so her Instagram is low in Bali, and just follow her. She's so sweet and she has really cute content, travel content, and yeah, that's it. We love her so much.
We love her. She's so
Yes.
sweet. So, thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you can relate or just live vicariously through our crazy stories.
Yes, please.
Yes. So, thank you so much for listening.
And we would love for you to share your travel ramen stories. Just send it to us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or in the school community. We will do a part 2 of this episode. And we want to hear your craziest, cutest stories. I think it's such a funny topic. So please share it to us. And as always, we're always here to listen if you have questions, struggle. We're here for you. You are our girls.
Yes.
Yes. See you next week.
See you.